is my shock hoop. It has a little bit of flex in it, but I want to support a little bit more to the frame. So what I've done is I've taken some of my CAD designing, cardboard, aided drafting, and I've traced out to fit against the frame and the upright. And so far I've already marked with this one what the angle would be for 1.5 inch tube coming in off the inside of the frame rail up about 9.5 inches. So I've got that for the front and the rear. I'm going to be doing that for the other side as well. So let's go ahead and get some of these transferred over onto the length of tube and get it cut up. I've got one more here for the driver's side. I'm going to mark up and get our tube positioning for there. The one thing I do need to make sure though is when I do cut these, the bottom will be a flat cut, but the top, because it's against the tube and it's rounded, I'm going to have a little bit extra length so it can wrap around those edges and tie in correctly. So let's get this marked up. Get my spectacles on. Trying to make sure I've got a good position. Whoop, they moved on me. Let's see. Still in the same spot. Okay, so here's my 3. This is going to be driver, rear. This is passenger rear. And this will be passenger front. Okay, well I've got some tube. Let's see. That'll be more than enough there. What I can do is I can figure out what this angle is, and then I can actually go on the computer and print out a calculator that shows the wave arc, that when you then print out on paper and wrap it, it gives you the coping angle for that. I think I might actually do that. So I get my angle measure. Okay, zero it. And I know this is the upright tube already. That looks pretty close, so 28.5 degrees. 28.5 degrees there. Actually, what we can do is it can show us for the bottom as well. Let's see. $60 degrees for the bottom. So actually up here, 25 degrees, and this down here is 60. So I can put those in the calculator. Like that. Let's see. It should be about the same. Yeah, I'd say that's the same. And for the top, let's see, we were 28.5. Let's go. It's going to be a little bit more. 32 degrees for the top. And that's pretty much maybe just a teeny bit less. 31.5. Old garbage truck coming and clean up all the trash. Alright. And bottom. 60 degrees there. And then I'll save the battery. So now we've got all of our measurements. Transfer this over to my paper. I need 60 degrees times 3, 28.5, 31.5, and 32 degrees. Alright, I'll go find my calculator, online calculator that'll show me how to print those out and get that wavelength, so when I wrap the tube, I can then mark the tube exactly where it needs to be cut. So let's go show you how that works. Here I am using the tube joint pattern generator, and it gives a lot of options. So I can go up here, select my first tube, which is the blue one, select the outside diameter, 1.5 inches, length of 10 inches, and then I can click on my tube 2, same 1.5 inches, length of 10, and this is where I put in my angle of 32. And then I can even change that, say 50 degrees, click the update button, and it changes the angle of that green tube. So we're going to do 32 degrees, update, there we go. And another cool thing is it allows you in the viewing window to rotate this and look at how those tubes intersect. You can also show the cut lines in the joint if you'd like. So when we're done, we click down here on the Make Template. We save it, and then we can open it up, and that gives us the cut print. So then we Control P to print it out, and then once we click print, we'll then get, I've already printed one out, our cut sheet. So then we can cut along that line and then wrap this around the tube and then mark it to get the right cut angle for our tube. So there we go, pretty easy. You'll use the computer to help get the measurements that you need. Again, tube joint pattern generator. A bunch of different ones online. This is one that I just found. I haven't used it before, but I really like this function of spin the pipe around and look at how it intersects. So let's get this cut out. For my 60-degree angle piece, I increased the large tube size by a couple hundred, and you can barely see in just a small 1.5 inch tube. That way it gives me a pretty flat surface that it's going to cut off of, since this program doesn't give me the option of a flat intersecting line. So this is what that wavelength looks like to cut around for the 60 degree. Got them all printed off, and we'll cut our tube. Here I have my original cardboard templates from the frame up to the shock hoop and the angle and distance that I need for each of those tie-in pieces. And then this is my templates that I can cut out and wrap around the tube to get my right cut angles for my tubes. So I'm going to use my scissors, cut these out, wrap the tubes, and then get them marked. One thing, this was 31.5, this is 32 degrees, close enough. They're just both going to get 32 degrees. I can make any adjustments with the grinder. And this is the 28.5, and then all the bottoms are going to be 60 degrees, and so I have my 60 degree up there. Let's go ahead and get them cut out. Got our 60 degree cut, got our 32 degree cut, and our 28.5 degree cut. So we'll get these wrapped around the tube, and then we'll make sure we have the right length of tube for each end marking, and we'll start getting these cut. Here is my marking for my first one. So let's go ahead and get that cut out. Went through my paper templates and got all my tubes cut. So I've got all of them coped for the top shop hoop, and then also the bottom piece to attach to the frame at the 60 degree angle. So I've got all these in place. I've got my shock hoops ground down to be clean for welding. So I need to put these in place, tack them, and then burn them in and weld them in strong. Let's go do that. Well, here I am on the passenger side. Here's front shock hoop, rear shock hoop, and we've got our kickers in for support. Hopefully that helps prevent a little bit more flex from happening. Let's go over to the driver's side. Okay, we've got our kicker here. The only problem is I don't have any room up front to do a kicker for the front side of the shot coop. Hopefully I've got enough strength in the other three and the crossbar to help. But there we are. Just need to do some acetone clean and then some spray paint to cover it all up, make it look nice.